Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen here at Rise and Shine Farm. I'm Heather and this is week 2 of the Three Rivers Homestead Pantry Challenge. It is Sunday afternoon and today I'm going to be making some lasagna for dinner. I am going to start off with browning up some ground beef and ground sausage, and to that I'm going to add some oregano. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some basil that I actually dehydrated this summer. This is fresh basil from my garden. If you guys haven't done this, this is by far way better than any store-bought basil. I encourage you to do that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in some garlic powder, followed by some freshly cracked pepper. Then I'm going to go ahead and just mix that all together, making sure that all of the meat is well combined, as well as having the spices distributed evenly throughout the meat. Then I'm just going to go ahead and add in my pasta sauce. I'm using marinara this time, but you can use whatever pasta sauce that you and your family like. Next, we're going to go ahead and make our filling. This is a 15-ounce carton of ricotta cheese. To that, I am going to add some grated Parmesan. I also added some dried parsley flakes, as well as some minced garlic. Next, we get to the fun part, which is assembling our lasagna. I like to put a layer of meat sauce down just to prevent my noodles from sticking to the bottom of the pan. I put some noodles on top and then top those noodles with some of that ricotta cheese mixture, just spreading that out as evenly as I can. Once that layer of ricotta cheese is down and it's nice and even, I add another layer of the meat sauce on top, spreading that out. And once that is all spread out, I will top that with some mozzarella cheese. After that layer of mozzarella is down, I start the whole process over again, starting with another layer of noodles. Next, it's time to place our lasagna in our 350-degree oven, and we're going to bake that for about 45 minutes or until it's nice and bubbly and the cheese on top starts to brown. Go ahead and just let your lasagna cool down for about 10 minutes, and then you are ready to cut in and serve it. Just look at all that cheese, guys. This meal was so delicious. My family loved it. Hey guys, it's Tuesday night and tonight we're going to be making a roast with some zesty oven potatoes. So let's get cooking. Okay, this is what I have decided to use to marinate my meat in. I'm just measuring everything by heart, putting it in a bowl and whisking it all together. Next, we're going to get started on our potatoes. I am just going to dice these up into 1-inch pieces. Then I'm just going to put my seasonings on my potato. I start by putting some olive oil on the potatoes, and then I use onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, salt, and a little bit of parsley. Then I'm going to place my potatoes in a 425-degree oven and let them roast until they're nice and tender. At this point, my meat has been marinating for about a half an hour, so I am just going to place it in this hot cast iron skillet to give it a nice sear. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some beef broth to the bottom of my pan to go ahead and deglaze it. I want all of that yummy flavor that's on there because I'm going to use this to make gravy for my roast. Now we're going to make our gravy with those pan drippings. I'm just going to dump it into a saucepan and let it cool for a little while. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 3 tablespoons of flour and get that all mixed in there. I'm then going to bring that up to a boil until it starts to thicken up and it is ready to go. Our potatoes have been in the oven for about 7 or 8 minutes at this point, so what I'm going to do is just push those to the side, and I am going to take our roast and put it right there in the center and put it right back in the oven and let that cook until it is a nice medium rare. Alright guys, there we have it. We have roast beef with a little bit of au jus, a side of corn, and our roasted potatoes, so let's give it a try. That's another winner. Yeah, jus just it gives it so much flavor. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Hey friends, welcome to Wednesday. It is incredibly cold out here today, so I have decided that for dinner tonight, we are going to be making some homemade chicken and dumplings. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to start off with our whole chicken. Mine is still frozen, and this is from one of the chickens that we processed this past summer. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to fill this pot with some water until it's about probably like halfway up the chicken. And what I'm going to do is basically let this cook with the lid on in my cast iron Dutch oven. And what that's going to do is create the broth for my chicken and dumplings. Alright, so I have my water in my pot. I'm going to throw in some salt and pepper. Salt. See if I have any ground pepper. I don't. And to give my broth just a little bit more flavor, I'm also going to throw in some veggie scraps. So I save my veggie scraps. Most of this is from like Thanksgiving and Christmas when I was cooking, but things like my ends of my onions and the ends of celery, all that kind of stuff, I just throw it in this bag and throw it in my freezer, and it makes phenomenal stock. So I'm just going to throw in some onion peels. And let's see, I've got like the end of an onion, and just some more celery. And that's going to really flavor my broth for my chicken and dumplings. Put all that in there. We're going to turn our heat on and we're going to let it simmer and cook. Okay, my chicken's been simmering for about an hour, so we're going to take it out and shred it up. Here I'm just taking my fine mesh strainer and I am straining out all of those veggie scraps that I had in there cooking in the broth. While my chicken is cooling off, I am just going to go ahead and season this broth with a little bit of thyme and sage. Okay, so I deboned my chicken and I put that in the pot. with some diced up carrots and some diced up onions, and now we're gonna go ahead and make the dumplings. So in my bowl I have 1 cup of flour, I have 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm just gonna give that a whisk to get that incorporated, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Here I'm just going to push that dough together just to make sure that all of that flour is well incorporated. I'm not really kneading it, it's more just to make sure that the flour is incorporated. Then I'm just going to take my dough, and on my dough mat I'm going to press it out into about 1/2 inch thick. Once I get it to the thickness that I like, I am then going to take my smallest biscuit cutter and just cut out little tiny circles. I'm then just going to bring those dumplings right over to the pot and just put them right in our hot broth. All right, it's all finished. Let's go ahead and give it a taste test. See if we need to add any more seasonings. We can use just a little bit more salt. And just like that, dinner for the night is done. Let's give it a taste. It tastes like my childhood. This is my granny's recipe for chicken and dumplings. It's so good. Warms the soul on a cold day. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, it is finally Friday. Thursday night, we just had some leftovers. Friday was just a crazy busy day at work, so it was one of those days where I just wanted something that was super short and simple and easy to make for dinner, and this was definitely the recipe. It took me like 20 minutes to put this together. So as you saw, those were just the spinach and mozzarella raviolis that I got from Costco that I shared in my Costco haul. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make the dressing that I'm going to put over top of them. I'm going to start with some olive oil and then throw in a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Then I'm going to throw in some of my favorite garlic and herb seasoning. This is also from Costco, and I just measure this with my heart. Then we're going to go ahead and shred in a little bit of Parmesan cheese. At this point, our raviolis are perfectly al dente, so I am just bringing them right over to the sink to put in a colander to drain. Then we're just going to add that sauce right over top of our noodles, and voila, dinner is done. Alright guys, this meal is exactly what I needed on a crazy Friday. It was easy, it was quick, and it was delicious. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you next week for week 3 of the Pantry Challenge.